we are continuing our art talks, and the goal of these conversations is to stay in touch, to know what's going on in the art industry. So I will invite different artists, so we'll have conversations with different artists, and they will share their experience and their new creations, and we will discuss problems and challenges they are facing in this new fast changing world. We know it's not an easy situation for all of us right now, but I'm an artist and I'm creating every day, and I'm very curious to know what other artists do and what you guys are doing. So, and today I will have a special guest. You have to check him out. His work is so cool. His name is Rich McCor. He's better known as the Paperboy. He's a contemporary British artist and a photographer, and he takes inspiration from his surroundings. He totally transforms familiar landmarks into work of art by simply cutting out paper. Can you imagine? He sees things differently, not like ordinary people do. If you check his profile, you will understand what I'm talking about. And he will join us in a couple of moments. So he's famous for his creative approach by simply cutting out black paper and perfectly fitting it into landscapes and architecture. So this is how magic appears. So let's see if Paperboy is here, and we connect him. Yes. Okay, let's see. Hello.
Hi.
Hey. Rick or Rich?
Rich. I can call me anything, but yeah, Rich normally.
Or should I call you Paperboy?
Paperboy is all right as well. Yeah, I'll accept that as well. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, it's like I'm a little bit like now I have to lean down a little bit.
Change it, right?
The screen.
Whenever I do these Instagram lives, I can never see myself. So yeah, can you see me? Okay.
I can see you perfectly. I think everybody can see us very well too. Let me just lift my camera a little bit so everybody can see me too. So where are you? I guess you were home in London.
I am, yeah. I'm sat here at my this is kind of my kitchen, but it's also my desk where I do most of my work. So I've tried to tidy it up a little bit. It's normally a real mess. So this is a little bit tidier than normal.
It's always, art is always mess, so you don't need to tell me there.
It's kind of the nice thing about being an artist is that we're allowed to be messy because we're creative, and it's what creatives do, right?
Exactly. Everybody forgive us for being messy. So tell me, like, you're traveling most of the time, and you take photographs on landmarks all around the world, not only in London. So where did the lockdown catch you?
Yeah, so I mean, in some ways, I was quite lucky. I was in Florida maybe a week or two just before the lockdown hit in London. So I was very fortunate. I managed to get that trip done, and then I got home before it got too complicated. And yeah, so yeah, I've been in North London ever since whenever the lockdown was, like early March, right? Mid-March, whenever that happened. So yeah, I've been.
When it happened. I celebrated my birthday March 11th, and then all this happened. That was the last time I went out.
It feels so long ago, doesn't it? It feels so much more than 2 or 3 months
ago. I know, times go so slow during the lockdown. And now I realized they're gonna start opening up places only July 4. So we still have like almost like 1.5 months ahead.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, here in London, the weather's been pretty decent, so I'm just grateful for that. I've been trying to like sunbathe in my kitchen, trying to get the sunlight come through the windows.
Yeah, it's not easy. At least you can go to the park and enjoy some sunshine
Yeah,
there. So tell me, do
exactly.
you create while you're self-isolating yourself?
Yeah, definitely. No, it's been how I've been sort of surviving from not going mad is just to, carry on doing what I do and doing what I love. So I've Instagram, it's working with brands and companies and sort of doing collaborations with them. And
Mm-hmm.
inevitably, that's all gone a little bit quiet during what we're going through. So it's been quite nice just to go back to creating art for the sake of creating art, having no expectations, having no pressure as well, having no clients sort of feedback on things. It's been really nice to take it a little bit almost back to basics, back to how it was when I started doing what I did in the early days, and just creating for the sake of creating stuff that I enjoy making and being a bit experimental with it. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, trying to put a positive spin on the situation, yeah, being able to have more time to create stuff has been quite nice. I've enjoyed that side of it.
So did the quarantine affect your artworks? Like, did you create something different? I saw there
Yeah,
is
definitely.
something with the toilet paper roll.
Yeah, I was tempted to sort of do some stuff with that, but it's such a precious commodity. I didn't want to waste it. But yeah, no. So obviously, as you mentioned at the start, most of my photos are done with landmarks and buildings and landscapes, and I'm traveling and I'm outside and I'm doing it, and it's a big scale. But with obviously staying at home, everything's been much smaller scale. So I've sort of been changing my perspective a little bit on what I do, and instead of interacting with big things in the background, is interacting with small things in the background and coming up with ideas with objects around the house. So again, it's been like a really fun creative challenge to sort of flip my ideas and change it up and look at things again a little bit differently. So yeah, I've tried to take it as a positive and be creative with my time where I can.
Yeah. So what do you think how the world will change after it's all over?
Yeah, that's like the big
Will it be the
question, right?
same or not? Definitely not. But like, what is your perspective, and what do you think will happen to the art industry in general?
Yeah, I mean the art industry. That's yeah, that's sort of the art industry in general. I mean, I think like in terms of galleries and museums, all of those guys are going to have been like financially hit. So it'll be interesting to try and see how they're going to bounce back and try and get more people interested in going to galleries and museums. But in some ways, that could be an opportunity for artists to collaborate and help promote museums and that sort of thing. So I think there could be opportunities there. Um, and one
So do
thing
you think
actually,
they're like adapting to the situation somehow, like going more like
yeah,
virtual, like
yeah,
virtual
definitely.
showrooms, or like galleries?
Yeah, there's been some really cool examples of museums doing sort of virtual tours and, websites where you can walk through museum galleries and see amazing bits of art. It's also, I can't remember the museum, I mentioned it on one of my Instagram captions a week or so ago. There was a museum that asked its followers to recreate some photos, recreate paintings that it had in the galleries. And I think maybe a few other museums have done this as well. So there's been these really fun photos of people recreating
Ah,
maybe
actually, yeah, I saw this some a video about it. I think it's even a Russian lady or like a couple. So first she photographed her husband. So he dressed up as like on the painting, and she photographed him, and then it went viral. So there is some rules to follow. So and it's pretty cool how people like put
yeah,
like makeup or
yeah,
like or being like so creative, like how they dress up and then take the same pose as an
yeah.
artwork.
And
So
they've
it's
been
pretty.
so good. I think there's been like what's been really nice about social media through this is that I've seen so much artwork be produced, and I think not only just from artists, obviously for you and myself doing what we do as an everyday full-time job, but there's been so much art created by people who have, aren't doing it full time. And I think it's been really exciting to see this much creativity come out. Again, I'm sort of being a bit conscious of obviously the situation is a horrible situation, but I'm trying to sort of look at the positive side of things. And I think, yeah, one of them is that people have really indulged in the creative sides, be that, you know, baking, cooking, knitting, sewing, painting, drawing, writing, or whatever. I think it's been really, I think that's been a really reassuring thing to see so many people lean into the creative and artistic sides, and it's been really inspiring as well. I've loved going through Instagram, seeing what people are up to, and see, and also just like following my friends. I didn't realize that some of them drew so well, and one of my friends is doing cross stitch at the moment, and I had no idea she did cross stitch. So yeah, I think so I'm going off topic of one of your questions a little bit here, but I think it's been really nice to see this much creativity come out in such a, you know, dark situation.
Someone is asking right now, which museum or gallery would you go once the lockdown is over?
That's a great question. Well, I've been doing some stuff with the Saatchi Gallery in London online. So to go back to the earlier question, one of the galleries that's been adapting really well is Saatchi, because they've been doing online Instagram lives where they get artists and poets and basically a whole range of creative people to do Instagram sessions where they kind of what we're doing right now, just talking about our art and talking about how we got interested and that sort of thing. So it'd be cool to go to the gallery. I know they had a Tutankhamun exhibition on, which I went to before, so I don't know if that will still be there after all this, but yeah, that's a good one. And then Tate Modern is always just a great place to visit in London, and I mean, I miss central London so much, so I'll definitely be going somewhere near Tate Modern, and so I imagine that will be one that I'll be going back to. Yeah. How about yourself? Have you got any like places where once you're allowed out again?
I dream about it every day. Like, where would I go once the lockdown is finished? Like, I'm not thinking about the galleries or the museums. Now all I think about is the sea, the sun, beach life. So I'd love to go to Mykonos, or yeah, anywhere in the Mediterranean would be nice. I don't care. I just want to travel. I know you love traveling yourself, and you travel most of the time because you take photographs of all these beautiful places. So where would you go?
That is a great, I mean, that is, yeah, like you, I sort of one of those things I've been thinking about. So, I mean, number one, it would be see family and friends. So just to catch up with people would be great. But then,
Hello. Got frozen. I don't know, guys. Rich, are you here? You're not. I wonder what is happening. Hello, he got disconnected. Okay, let me connect him again. There was some, I don't know, Instagram. Too many people using Instagram nowadays. Okay, we are trying to connect again.
hello.
Yeah, good to have you back.
Sorry, I don't know what happened there.
Yes, you just froze.
Oh, was it really unflattering? Was it like me going,
No,
or something?
it was, you're fine. At least on my screen, you're fine. Yeah, but sometimes, yeah, like people freeze like in the funny positions.
I'm glad it wasn't too bad then. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
It's Instagram overloaded, as you can imagine.
Yeah, maybe exactly that. Friday afternoon, everyone's like, ooh, Instagram. So yeah, I was telling you where I was planning. Yeah. So honestly, I think I'd love to do some stuff in the UK. So just getting out and about in the UK. Scotland is somewhere that I'm talking about. Me and a friend are talking about maybe doing a road trip once. You know, obviously, once we're allowed to, it'd be brilliant to go up to Scotland and do something.
It's beautiful. I've never been. I always wanted to go.
Yeah, I've only ever done a few I've done Glasgow and Edinburgh, and I used to do trips to Aberdeen when I was a kid, but I've never really done like the Highlands and the mountains. So I think I'd like to do that.
I'm very curious, how does your creative process work? Like, first you see a landscape or then and then you think about the cutout which would fit perfectly there, or how does it work? Or you look on the internet the place you would like to go, and then you go and search for it and like photograph it. So how does it work?
Yeah, kind of the latter. So I do, if I know that I'm going somewhere, then I'll do a lot of research online beforehand. So I'll look through Instagram, I'll look through websites like Flickr, which is a photography website, and then I'll even go through Google Images and all of those sort of things. Sometimes even Google Street View, sort of going down Street View, trying to see if there's an interesting building or architecture. Do loads of research, and then I'll sort of print out a few photos, doodle over them, try and get some ideas. And then once I've got a bunch of ideas that I really like, I'll then make the paper cutouts. So I'll make them before I travel somewhere. So
Oh
it'll be
yes,
this sort
great. Show us some, please. So first you draw with a pencil, and then you
of,
do
well,
a cutout.
I design them on my computer and then print them out and basically sort of cut around them, trace around them. So I've got a bunch of like scalpel knives, and so this is my main tool that I use, but I've got a bunch of other little things and small scissors, craft scissors that I use. And yeah, this is roughly the size. Most of them are about that size.
So delicate.
Yeah, this one's, and I mean, there's different types of paper that I use. This one is about, I think I use 240 GSM for this one, which is grams square meter. So this one is, it's like a thin-ish card. So when I'm outside with it, it's windy, it's not too delicate that it won't blow all over the place, but it's also not too thick that I can't get the details in.
Like how long does it take you to cut, like for example, something like
So that
this?
one, I think that one was like 30, to cut it, like probably not even 30 minutes, because it's, I mean, it's not too detailed. And then something like this one, like that's like a 5-minute job or so. So that's, you know, a relatively simple one. But yeah,
So
when
it's plastic. No, it's not plastic. It's paper. It's
yeah, no, wallpaper, yeah.
I know how delicate it is. Like I sometimes I do the cutouts, and it's so easy to mess it up. Like so,
Yeah.
does it happen that you make a cutout and then
It
you
does.
make a minor mistake, and then you have to start from the scratch from scratch?
I sometimes, I mean, for example, if for example I cut his arm or something here, what I would then normally do is sort of glue it back together, and you wouldn't. But,
That's a little trick.
There's a little bit of cheating if it goes wrong, yeah. But when I started out, yeah, I was making lots of mistakes, and actually when I started, it was mostly just like a silhouette, and it's only the more experience I've got with it, the more that I make it more like a stencil now, so I can get a bit more detail into it.
I wonder how do you store it in the book, or because
that is exactly it. I've got like a moleskin notepad, so I sort of put them in different pages.
I wonder how many cutouts have you got so far?
Oh, I mean, let me go get the box because there's a lot.
Yeah, very curious.
So this is basically where I put the old ones, the ones that I'm not that,
Wow.
I mean, I'm not very good at storing them. The ones that I'm really proud of are like they're under my sofa being squashed underneath some, like they're being stored. But yeah, these are sort of the old ones. Some of the ones that didn't work so well. Yeah, lots of ones in here. So I haven't got a clue how many there are. But I mean,
so like once they're like this in the box, they don't get damaged.
No, I mean, yeah, I'm not looking after these ones as well as I should, but these are ones that sort of are just, some of these didn't work that well.
But it's so difficult to find the one you need because everything is black.
Those ones, like, I'm probably not going to use again, but I can't bring myself to throw them away.
I think you should make some really cool collage using all this and to make something out of it. So to take a big, huge canvas and to stick all this on.
Oh, I love that.
Make something around it.
I really like that. Or yeah, or sort of do one of those prints where, yeah, those big canvases where up close you can't really tell what it is, but when you step back, it's like someone's face.
Once you see there is something happening there is action. And once you look close, you see all these details, and it's something else.
I love that idea. Okay,
Yeah,
we should
you should recycle.
exactly recycle them. Yeah, exactly that.
So when did you create your first cutout, and what was it like?
So the first proper one that I did with like a landmark was it 2015? Yeah, 2015, and it was with Big Ben, or Elizabeth Tower, as it's officially called, but we'll call it Big Ben, right? And it was a cutout of a wristwatch, and I held it up in place so that the clock face of Big Ben could be seen through the wristwatch. And I remember I took that one when I was standing on Westminster Bridge, and it was quite windy, and I had my camera, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just experimenting, feeling quite self-conscious because, you know, there was a lot of tourists and a lot of people there. And so I took this photo, and I was just like, when I looked at it on the back of my camera, I just felt really excited by it. I just felt like it was I'd seen it had worked, and I was like inspired to do some more. And I got really excited about just wanting to explore London further and take more photos in London with these cutouts in some way. Yeah.
So from the very beginning, you decided to match photography together with paper cutting.
Yeah.
So what came first? Or you first started photography and then paper cutting, or all together?
It was the paper cutting was first. So that was maybe 4 years prior to that when I got interested. So probably like 9 years ago now, when I got interested in paper craft, paper artists, and just like that was a generic interest. It wasn't specifically with, you know, stencils like this one. It was just an interest in all sorts of paper craft. And then that kind of like, you know, went to one side for a while. And then I got interested in photography when Instagram came out, and started exploring London with my camera, taking photos. And then I just wanted to do something that was a bit different. And I knew that my photography skills weren't amazing. So I wanted to do something that was different. I think that's the thing, like with artists, you need, well, this is sort of an opinion I had, that you've either got to be better than everyone else, or you've got to be different to everyone else to stand out in some way. And so I decided to go down the different route and then combine the paper with the photography. And it didn't seem that there was anyone else doing it, and so I really ran with it.
I just saw a question. Someone asked if you studied fine arts.
No, so I have no artistic background. I have no formal training. I didn't go to any art college.
What did you study?
I studied a media degree. So I used to work in television, and I was, you know, on the production teams, and
so it's still creative.
Exactly, it's still a creative job, and I think there was maybe some of the creative frustration in that job probably helped push me towards doing what I'm doing now. Yeah. But no, I did enjoy art at school, but art at school was always about painting and drawing, and that was never my strength at school. And so I think it sort of left me with the impression that I wasn't an artist because I can't paint. And it took me a long time afterwards to realize that art is so many more things than just painting.
Someone asked me if I ever use this technique, because I like to use collages in my artworks. Yeah. But no, I do paper cutting, but like, you know, when I make a stencil, then I have to cut, and I know how difficult it is.
Yeah, but I've seen
so maybe next time I need to cut something, like I call you for help.
But yeah, I've seen you do a lot of very cool mixed media stuff. And so
yeah. I use different materials, like combine. I first started with like doing collages. I love to do collages, and then it grew to something else. So now I use so many different materials, and I work on the series of artwork. It's called The Lost Planet. It's about the environment and the world around us. So each artwork is different part of the world, and it's about different ecological issues the planet is facing nowadays.
That's so cool. I think there's something that I want to do more of is artwork with a meaning. So yeah, and what I mean by that is that like, a lot of what I do is just kind of for fun. It's not really got a message behind it. And
I think now it's a perfect time to do something with a message, and I think you should really do something about this current situation. So you
Yeah.
have to think.
I mean, I really enjoy making people smile with what I do, and I think that's something I want to keep on doing. I don't want to do anything divisive, so I tend to try and avoid anything like that. But I like what you do, and the message of the Lost World artwork that they're doing.
Yeah.
It's a really good message. So yeah, I think that's something that during the rest of this lockdown, I'm going to need to sort of consider and think about. Come up with some ideas for.
And what I wanted to ask, so what was your first commission, and what was it exactly? Your first commission work?
My first commission. So I got a DM from Lonely Planet, and I thought it was fake because I was not expecting to get a message from Lonely Planet. And basically they said, "We really like what you do. Would you like to take some photos for us?" So I, of course, said yes. And they gave me a very small amount of money. And then I spent a lot more money traveling around Europe taking photos for them because they gave me this opportunity. And I was like, well, I want to make sure I do the best possible job for it. So I think I went to Amsterdam, Paris, Copenhagen, that was it, for them, and took some photos, which they put on their social media, and then that helped me get a bit of an audience as well. But yeah, so Lonely Planet was my first commission, which was a really great first commission to have.
Yeah, I know you had a great experience in Dubai with your work with the Disney. So
Yeah.
So tell us about the experience. How was that?
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed Dubai for what I do because in terms of like the architecture, it's a playground for what I
Oh,
do. I mean, it's a cool place, but it's also just it's a eye candy to look at everywhere. It's a very exciting place. And yeah, I had a project with Disney to do some stuff for Star Wars when one of the Star Wars films was released there. I want to say this. I can't remember which Disney film. Oh, sorry, which Star Wars film it was. Anyway, they asked me if I could come up with some ideas to promote Star Wars in Dubai. So I had a few ideas. Yeah, it was a cool commission to get. And one of the ideas I had was to make a paper cutout of the Millennium Falcon and have it as if it was landing on top of the helipad, on top of the Burj Al Arab. The Burj Al Arab is that 7-star hotel. And Disney liked the idea, but they said to me, "There's no way you'll get permission for it. So have you got any other ideas?" And I was like, "Okay, sure." So I came up with some more ideas, but just because I wanted to try it, I emailed the marketing team at Jumeirah. So Jumeirah own Burj Al Arab as well as a few other hotels there. And their head of marketing was a follower of mine, followed my Instagram account. So they were like, "Yeah, we'd love to have you here." So I managed to get permission to go up to the helipad, and I had about 20 minutes up there, and there's an amazing view of Dubai. It was a little bit windy, so it's a little bit scary, and also, obviously holding a paper cutout up there was a bit, I had to have some patience until I got the shot that I needed. But it was amazing. It was one of those moments where you're just kind of like, I can't believe that I'm here. I can't believe that my little hobby that I didn't think anyone else would take any interest in has led to this happening. So yeah,
I'm sure you did something with Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world.
Yes, I did. I had a man climbing up the side of it. I think I also did another Star Wars idea as if it was a lightsaber. So yeah, I've done a few things there, and I've got more ideas. So when
with Emirates Towers, the two identical towers in downtown.
Yeah, because one of them I stayed at the hotel. It's one of them. So
it also belongs. It's part of Jumeirah Group.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly that. Oh, but Dubai's so great. I'm looking forward to going back there when things are back to normal.
Yeah. Now it's Ramadan and summer coming, so probably after summer would be the better time to go there.
Yeah.
And did you go to Abu Dhabi?
Not yet. No, I've never been. Have you been to Abu Dhabi?
I've been. It's so beautiful. I just actually before the lockdown, I went for Bulgari experience. Though they organized a big event in Louvre, which was so just for I don't know how many was us, like maybe 100 people, maybe less. So they took the whole Louvre with the fashion show and the dinner. It was so beautiful.
I'm so
And
good.
we had like a daily program. So I was really impressed with the Grand Mosque. So
Yeah.
this is the place you must go. It's so beautiful. Yeah, it's
I've seen so many
gorgeous.
great photos of it, and I've heard people say really good things like that about it. So yeah, Abu Dhabi would be somewhere.
And you should do something also with Louvre because the ceiling is sort of like cut out.
Right. Oh,
Yeah, it has
okay.
a very beautiful pattern. And so when the sun comes, you can see all the shadows of this cut out from the ceiling. It's on the like shadow on the floor. Very beautiful.
Oh, amazing.
So I
Oh no,
think it
yeah,
would be very inspiring for you as an artist.
I'm sure. Well, you definitely made me want to go. So yeah, hopefully I will.
So in your creations, so like I'm very curious, your creative approach, like you see things differently, not like other people see. Like you look at the building or some landscape and you imagine what would be the cutout, perfect cutout there, or
Yeah. Well, I think when I started, I think I had just like a handful of ideas. I think I had like maybe three or four ideas. One with Big Ben, the first one that I did, which I mentioned, and then one with the London Eye, one with St Paul's Cathedral. I think there might have been another one as well. And then like I think I sort of ran out of ideas. So when I started, I think I was only ever going to do that for those three or four photos, and that was only going to be it. And then a friend of mine said to me that she really enjoyed them, and I was like, okay, I might see if I can come up with some more of them. And then I really sort of forced myself to come up with some more ideas, and I mean, and then I did some more, but the fear of running out of ideas never goes away. But at the
I
same
think you
time,
will never run out of ideas. It's impossible because the world is so big. There is so many beautiful places.
and exactly, and the
And
excitement of coming up with an idea. I mean, I'm sure it's the same for you when you come up with an idea for a piece of artwork. The excitement that you get from it, and especially seeing it happen and seeing it gradually come to life. I mean, nothing beats that. So I mean, after doing this for 5 years, almost 5 years, I still love it, and I still get really excited by it. So
Mhm.
yeah, and as you say, the world's.
Have you ever been to Russia, by the way?
No, I haven't. I've never, and no, I would love to. I
I'm
would.
just curious, how would you use, for example, Red Square or famous St. Basil Cathedral in your artwork?
Yeah,
And where would you
well,
go? Like you arrived to Russia, where would you go? What would be the first place?
well, definitely Red Square for sure, and then yeah, the cathedral. But also, Moscow's got some really like I looked at a few photos, and Moscow's got some really modern architecture. There's a twisted building. I think it's called the.
Yeah, it's in
Actually,
the city.
yeah. Do you know what it's called? I can't remember what it's called.
I don't know how it is called. Yeah, I know which one it
Really,
is.
really incredible looking building, and I think that I definitely want to do something like that. There's also, I think there's a space museum, and it's got like a rocket, almost looks like a rocket going up. So
Yep.
yeah, I want to do
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. All I
So
say
yeah,
is you should go to St. Petersburg. Yes, St. Petersburg is definitely also so
that,
beautiful.
yeah, yeah. I'm hopefully actually talking to St. Petersburg. I might be doing a an exhibition there in maybe like 2 years. It was going to be 1 year's time, but then it's all been delayed. So in two
You
years, I
plan
might.
really very much ahead.
This isn't my plan, it's their plan. But hopefully, if it happens, yeah, 2022, I'll be doing something in St. Petersburg. Yeah.
So that's amazing. Did you already have any exhibitions in the past, or is
Yeah,
there any coming soon?
I had one in South Korea, and I did some workshops with some school children there, so that was really fun. I was sort of teaching them how to make cutouts, and then they
Mm.
were making their own, and then we went out and about.
Okay. Instagram is freezing. Let's see if it will reconnect again. Hello. Paper cut of ballerina dancing on the red square. That would be. Let's see if okay, I will have to invite Rich again. Give me just a moment. Yeah. Oops. This is my artwork, by the way. Okay, I'm back here. Okay, waiting for Rich to reconnect with us. Rich aka Paperboy, where are you? We're waiting for you to reconnect. I think there is some problem with the reception, or I don't know what's going on. Are you here? What is it about? So guys who just joined, we have a special guest, Rich McCor, aka Paperboy, is unable to join. What is going on? Let's try again. Oops, no, pressed the wrong person. Okay, we're trying again to reconnect.
Hi again.
Okay, we made it.
I'm so sorry. I don't know if this is my fault, then I'm so sorry. I hope it isn't. I hope it's Instagram's fault, but if it is mine, then I'm sorry.
Again, you froze, and then yeah, it happens. It's okay. We'll continue.
Apologies to everyone at
What
home
were we
as well.
talking about? I forgot.
I feel like St. Petersburg, maybe Russia, going to Russia and doing some stuff there. Yeah. So you've got me really excited to go to Abu Dhabi and Russia. So I think those are going to be the places that I'm going to aim for after lockdown.
Yeah, I think also Japan would be nice.
Yeah, Japan's a great one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were talking about the exhibition. Yes.
Oh yes. Yeah. So hopefully, if things go to plan, I'll be doing something in St. Petersburg in 2022. But very early days yet. But hopefully, yeah, that's the case.
So amazing. So what is your plans now during lockdown, to create more artworks?
Yeah, keep coming up with some more ideas, hopefully. So the other day I was doing this thing. Let me just fix it. So this is what I posted on my account the other day, just playing around with
Johnny Depp.
yeah, playing around with like these are USB cables
Oh,
and
you got some hair, yeah, like USB cable.
that's the hook. So just I mean coming up with silly little ideas of that,
Like the most
playing around.
difficult part, like to cut eyes so they don't fall off. So this,
That's
how
so
do you
true.
do it? How do you manage to do
It's
it?
so hard to create eyes that don't look crazy as well. I did a piece of work a couple of days ago where I got the eyes so wrong that I just had to scrap the idea because it looked so crazy. Yeah, it's so true. Eyes are very difficult to
Yeah,
do.
can you show us maybe some more of your artworks?
Yeah, I mean that's the only one that's like that. Let me see if I could get some up on my laptop and show you what I've done recently.
By the way, do you use Photoshop in your
Yeah, so a
creative?
little bit, I mean, not too much. I mean, all of my stuff is shot on location with, as I say, real paper cutouts. But I use Photoshop for the depth of field issue. So if you're taking a photo of, a paper cutout here, and then the building is all the way over there, there's a depth of field issue there. So I use Photoshop to get around that so that everything's in focus. But yeah, I try not to do too much editing because it's got to look how basically all it is. It's me, camera, paper cutout.
Which
location.
camera is that? So
This is the Canon 6D,
mm-hmm.
but I've also got a Lumix, which looks like. So this is like my proper professional one, Lumix S1R. This is quite heavy, so if I'm traveling, I'll probably take the Canon, but if I've not got too much luggage, I'll take this one.
Someone is asking, do you use one cutout more than once in one photograph?
That's a good question. I don't get asked that actually that often. It's a good question. So yes, I do sometimes. When I started, I had a whale tail cut out, and I would take that and I'd put it into water wherever I was going, or like lakes or whatever. So yeah, there's that one that I've used a few times. And actually, this one I showed you earlier of the painter, although it's a different cutout, I use that character. So I've designed him in a few different poses. So you'll see him.
So and then he's traveling from one location to another.
Exactly, traveling with me makes me feel like I've got a companion. So this is one
like closest companion.
Yeah, exactly. No one else to travel with me, so I have to make a paper friend.
Yeah.
So that's one that I did a while ago. So that is London, a rainbow. But let me see if I can turn it upside down so you can see.
Yes,
So
I'm
that's
like, what is that?
Regent Street in London.
Yeah. Yep.
And then
Yep.
there we go. So then it's a rainbow.
Yeah.
So that was one I did a while ago and reposted recently. But then, so yeah, I've been doing stuff at home. So this is one that I did with a candle. So this is actually not with paper. That's yeah. So a stencil in my design is that it's a caveman picking up a flame.
Caveman on the, like as a torch.
Like a torch, exactly. So just like fun ideas, which I wouldn't like unless I was stuck at home. I probably wouldn't have come up with ideas like that. So it's been quite a fun opportunity to think a little bit differently whilst in lockdown.
So do you make the cutouts every day, or you take a break?
It feels like it actually. Yeah, normally I'll make them in a batch, but yeah, lately it has felt like I've sort of been doing it every day. But it's quite therapeutic though, because I'll sit here, I'll cut it out, I'll put some music on, and that'll be my meditation for the day as well. So I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just sort of cutting out. So it's quite peaceful in that sense.
And how do you keep your tools sharp? Because it's so important that it is sharp.
Yeah, well, I've got like replacement blades, so I sort of have a new blade for pretty much every sort of 2 or 3 cutouts.
How long does each blade last for you?
Well, because the tip of it's so delicate, I normally end up breaking it quite soon. So sort of only 2 cutouts, and then I break it. So then I'll get a new one. Yeah,
because like in my case also they get blunt or
yeah,
it happens.
Yeah, and like there's some things you can do with it when it's blunt, but if it's not perfectly sharp, then it just ends up ruining your cutout. So yeah.
Okay, great. So what would you wish to our viewers? What is your final word?
Oh, I just well, first of all, my apologies for cutting out 2 times. So my apologies to everyone at home for disappearing.
Cutting out, yeah, like that.
I think to anyone at home who's like an artist or hopes to be an aspiring artist or whatever, I think just keep on creating, keep on making stuff. And what's been really interesting about this downtime at the moment is that I've made a lot of stuff that I wouldn't normally make. I've been experimenting with a few different styles, and some of it's gone wrong, some of it doesn't look great. Like I mentioned earlier about the eyes looking a bit crazy. There's been a lot of stuff that I've just been like, no, that's not good. But it's also taught me to come up with some fun ideas and some new things. So I think that's the secret to any artist. I don't know if you'll agree with this, but I think the secret is to just keep on making, keep on creating, and then you might make some stuff that you're not happy with, but eventually you're going to make something that makes you go, oh wow, this isn't bad, and then you get a bit more excited, and then eventually you make something where you go, wow, I actually really like this.
Amazing. So keep on doing something, keep on creating, and
exactly.
yeah, something beautiful will come out eventually. Okay, thank you for your time. It was great having you. Hopefully the lockdown will be over very soon and we can travel and get inspired. And we are looking forward for your new creations, and especially something related to this difficult moment, and something with a meaning, and something that will inspire our viewers.
Well, I think it's great that you're doing these sessions to, you know, sort of share people's artwork. So thank you for introducing me to your followers, but also just, yeah, I think it's great to open up and sort of let people know what's going on and what artists do. So I think this has been a really cool, and this has been really fun for me. So thank you as well. But
Yeah,
yeah.
it was great. It was great. Thank you so much. It was great having you.